Get him. Yeah. Get him. Oh, no. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get him. Yes. Yes. Get him. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Goji.
Come on.
Goji.
Come here.
Goji. Goji!
Oh. What?
Don't you have a video you have to be doing?
What video do I have to do?
You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what video you're talking about.
Oh, come on. You know. A top list?
I don't know what top 5 list I have to do.
Yes, you know what top 5 list I'm talking about. All your fans want you to do it.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not, no.
Hey, don't you ignore me.
I'm gonna play my game.
Hey, listen.
Got no
listen here.
top 5
hey,
list to do.
Hey, listen.
I can't escape it, can I? I really gotta do this list again, huh?
Yep.
Fine, here we go. Alright, well guys, it is that time. I have to revisit this list. This is my top 5 toughest enemies for Godzilla's list. Now, as you guys know, a long time ago when I first started my channel, this was actually my second top 10 list or top 5 list, and basically it's been haunting me ever since. I've gotten plenty of emails of people saying that I'm an idiot, or plenty of emails of people saying, "Where's Destroya?" and so many this list has just haunted me. But I'm finally back to redo this list and to give it the proper, I guess, revival that it needs, because in my older list there was a lot of things in there that I look back on and I'm like, wow, that's just crap. So without further ado, here is my new top 5 toughest enemies for Godzilla list. Let's go. And I also want to give a shout out to Plutonium2356 because today is his birthday. So happy birthday, man. This is your present to you. Alright, coming in at number 5, we have King Ghidorah from 1991, from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, 1991. Alright, now, this, King Ghidorah obviously is Godzilla's, well, basically Godzilla's archenemy. And I feel in this movie, they made King Ghidorah really badass, extremely tough for Godzilla, and when they first fight, I mean, King Ghidorah is just pounding the crap out of Godzilla, stomping on him, shooting his gravity beams at Godzilla, and just doing all kinds of damage to him. Godzilla really couldn't do anything until the mothership that the future humans were, or that the enemies, that when it got blown up, or when the computers got blown up, then King Ghidorah started to like short circuit. King Ghidorah wasn't under the control anymore, and Godzilla was able to get the upper hand. But the part that I really want to talk about is when King Ghidorah had Godzilla like wrapped around, and Godzilla was literally like, he was choking him out and also sucking his energy, and Godzilla was like foaming at the mouth and stuff, and like that was pretty tough for Godzilla. So at number 5, gotta give it to King Ghidorah from 1991. Alright, coming in at number 4, we have Mechagodzilla 74. The very original Mechagodzilla. Yes, this Mechagodzilla kicked Godzilla's ass like tremendously. I mean, oh man, like watching the movie as a kid, I was like freaking out because Godzilla was literally bleeding like everywhere. Like Mechagodzilla just flew over Godzilla and just shot into his neck and blood just spurted out. I mean, that was nuts to see as a kid. I mean, I was like, whoa. I mean, like, it's kind of violent for a kid's show, or for a kid's movie, but yeah, Mechagodzilla really did a number on him. I mean, and especially King Caesar as well. I mean, because Mechagodzilla was by himself in that movie, and I mean, Mechagodzilla just shot everything that he had at them. He had like his finger missiles, his eye beams, his little like beam that would come out of his chest. He had like missiles on his knees and just everywhere. And he did like an onslaught of an assault on Godzilla and King Caesar and really gave them a hard time. So number 4, gotta give it to Mechagodzilla 74. Alright, and number 3, we have my man Gigan from 1972 from the movie Godzilla vs. Gigan, or Godzilla on Monster Island. I swear, Gigan in this movie was tremendously a badass. I mean, like, this guy, just owned Godzilla, and also Anguirus. Once again, this was a tag team battle. He did have help from King Ghidorah, but I feel that in the movie, King Ghidorah really didn't do a lot. It was really Gigan that did a lot of the work. The big Godzilla tower did a lot of the damage too when it was shooting its beam towards Godzilla. But most of the time, Gigan did a lot of damage to Godzilla. One, by continually flying over him, slicing his neck or his kind of his shoulder with his buzzsaw. Once again, Godzilla bleeding out like crazy. I mean, the 70s were violent with Godzilla movies. And also, I mean, Gigan just hitting him in the face with his foot, and then also just clawing his face. The part that I always think about is the part where Gigan's just clawing at Godzilla's forehead and blood's just coming out, and be like, man. And when Gigan's finally done hitting him, Godzilla just falls down, and I mean, Godzilla's like just dead. I mean, he's basically gone. I don't even know. Like, Godzilla all of a sudden gets the power once the Godzilla tower gets destroyed, but yeah, but during that battle, man, Gigan really gave Godzilla a hard time. So I gotta give it to number 3 for Gigan. Alright, coming in at number 2, this is very hard. I had to, I've had a lot of conversations, a lot of debates, especially with Plutonium 2356. But number 2, I have to give it to Mechagodzilla 2. And a lot of you guys are wondering, and this was actually a monster that was not on my previous list, which is why it was flawed. But Mechagodzilla 2 definitely was a tough monster. I mean, well, not really monster, I guess. He was more, human-made. But this, he was a tank. I always thought of Mechagodzilla 2 as just the tank version of Mechagodzilla. Like Mechagodzilla 74, he was kind of well-rounded. He was, he was acrobatic, but he had a lot of, weaponry on him. Kiryu, on the other hand, didn't really have a lot of weaponry, but he was very agile and acrobatic. Mechagodzilla 2 was not very acrobatic, but he made up for in weapons and just being this just tank of a machine. And yeah, I mean, he just gave everything that he had at Godzilla, his maser beams and what was it, Mega Buster that come out of his belly. I mean, just those weapons were tremendous. But when it came to the part where the Garuda went on to Mechagodzilla 2, all of a sudden making him Super Mechagodzilla, that's when shit really hit the fan with Godzilla, and Godzilla basically almost died. And there's a lot of fan speculation on whether Godzilla actually dies at this point when his second brain is destroyed, or if he's just in a coma, or some kind of I guess coma is what I would say. To me, I think Godzilla wasn't completely dead, but I know a lot of fans do think he's dead, and Mechagodzilla 2 was two out of the monsters that Godzilla fought. Mechagodzilla was one of the monsters that almost killed Godzilla completely. Once again, if it wasn't for Rodan coming in and reviving Godzilla, and then all of a sudden Godzilla pops up with a spiral red beam and just kills Mechagodzilla 2. Mechagodzilla 2 doesn't have a chance after Godzilla gets revived. I mean, if you guys watch the movie, Mechagodzilla 2 didn't even touch him after Godzilla revived. But before that, Mechagodzilla 2 really did give Godzilla a hard time. So, gotta give number 2 to Mechagodzilla 2. Alright, now before we get to my number 1, a lot of you guys, if you guys are long fans of my channel, you probably know who number 1 is, but before we get to that, I want to give some honorable mentions. Alright, so here we go, my honorable mentions. First honorable mention goes to Destroya. Yes, in my last list he was not in it, and I have made claims that he was not a tough monster, but I recently saw the film again, and I gotta give a little bit of credit to Destroya. He was a little bit of a tough guy, but he goes under my honorable mentions and not a main lister on this list. My other honorable mention goes to Space Godzilla, just for being basically a clone of Godzilla, but also kicking the crap out of Godzilla and Moguera, and just being a total badass. My third honorable mention goes to King Kong, basically because King Kong, in the movie King Kong vs. Godzilla, Godzilla really did have his hands full with King Kong. So, and also the ending is kind of up in the air of whether King Kong won or not, but it kind of looks as though King Kong won just because he was the monster that came up. I don't know, but my last honorable mention is Hedorah. Hedorah was on my last list, but now I've kind of demoted him into the honorable mentions list because he was tough at the beginning, but then halfway through the battle, Godzilla just ended up killing him overkill. So, he wasn't extremely that tough, but that's why he's in my honorable mention. Alright, so now back to the main list. My number 1 pick is Kaiser Ghidorah. Now, a lot of you guys saw this coming, and I will stick to this. Kaiser Ghidorah is my number 1 toughest enemy for Godzilla for a lot of reasons. One, because when Kaiser Ghidorah popped up after Monster X and Godzilla had their fight, and once Monster X changed into Kaiser Ghidorah, Godzilla did not even touch him. Like, Kaiser Ghidorah just popped up and just used his gravity beams, throwing Godzilla everywhere, smashing him on buildings, stepping on him, doing all kinds of crap to him, and finally grabbing Godzilla and just grabbing up and sucking his energy. And basically Godzilla, right there at that point, he was gonna die. Godzilla was going to die right there. I mean, you even see it in the movie. You see Godzilla's face, and his eye is like he's starting to go, and his hand is trying to hold on, but then he just kind of just goes down. If it wasn't for the humans shooting pure energy into his spines, Godzilla would have been done for. But there's some similarities with Kaiser Ghidorah and Mechagodzilla too. Once again, when Godzilla is revived or brought back or from whatever kind of force, Kaiser Ghidorah had no chance. Godzilla just got out of the chokehold, grabbed him, just smashing him everywhere, and then throwing him up in the air and shooting his spiral red beam and just disintegrating Kaiser Ghidorah. But while the battle lasted, Kaiser Ghidorah really did give it to Godzilla, and that's why for me he's my #1 toughest enemy. Alright guys, thank you for watching this list. This is the last time I'm ever talking about toughest enemies. I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm so done with it. For all you Destroya fans, Destroya got on it, but not as a main list, as part of the honorable mentions, and I hope that this list will make people a little bit more happy. So, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave in the comments below what you think your toughest monsters are. I would love to know. And as always, stay big, G fans.